And as said, yeah, my name is Johnny. I'm the Chief Financial Officer of Nuevolution. It's actually my first time to present here at Aktiedagen, so that's very interesting for me. I joined the company fairly recent. And before I start my presentation, I would say that when I joined the company and looked at the company, I found 3 areas which I think is very unique and have some very attractive features of the company. One is the technology platform, which is rather unique and enables the company to progress a broad pipeline of programs. And that means that the company does not have the bandwidth to progress all programs themselves. So partnering is key and important and is in the DNA and strategy of the company. That's number 2. And number 3 for me was that I believe that Nuevolution is at the brink of an inflection point. Many of the programs, owned and partnered programs, are moving towards clinical development. And with those words, this would be a very good slide to start with. I have indeed just said some forward-looking statements. There are no promises that they will happen as exactly described by me, and I will do the same throughout the presentation. Who is Nuevolution? Nuevolution is a Scandinavian-based biotech company. It's based in Denmark with 48 employees from Denmark and Sweden and other nationalities. In total, more than 10 nationalities work at Nuevolution. Nuevolution is listed here in Stockholm at Nasdaq, the main market. The majority of shareholders is Swedish, and we have had major Swedish shareholders since 2004. A couple of our big investors is SEB and Industrifonden. Nuevolution have, as mentioned, a broad pipeline through own and partnered programs within the areas of inflammation and cancer. This is enabled through the platform, as mentioned, Chemetics. The Chemetics platform is patented, more than 10 patent families and more than 200 individual patents worldwide. This is the engine that enables Nuevolution to do unique research on molecules, small molecules. Before I go into the details about how we do this, I will give a very brief overview of drug research and how it is in general performed. I think that will give you a background and hopefully a more understanding about the uniqueness and how the Chemetics Nuevolution's engine works. So if you look at this slide, to the left you will have, being a company, a molecule which you believe have some features that enables it to eventually become an approved drug all the way to the right. Through that you will go through a number of phases. You will do a research phase before you will enter into human clinical trials, and hopefully you will get it approved on the market. This process typically takes plus minus 10 years. In the research phase, what you do is you have this molecule. Now you need to test it in various areas. You need to test it against the disease target. Let's say you have a cancer cell. You want to see if it can bind and inhibit or whatever you wish to look at on the cell, to look at it at a cellular level. Then you will move into animals. You will start with rodents, mice, rats, and then you will move into higher animals, meaning animals that resemble humans more. And if all goes well, you may eventually go into clinical development. For each of these areas, you need to test 3 things. Activity, does it work the way you expected it to work? Does it bind? Does it inhibit? As I said, for each of these areas. Is it stable? Does it work for the time period which you would like it to work? For a small molecule, as we're looking at, that is typically tablet-based. So that is typically 12 to 24 hours that your tablet. So is it released in the body as you would expect it to do? And finally, and very important, safety. Is there side effects, mild or severe side effects? Each of these areas you need to pass. And if you do not pass them, one or more, your molecule will fail and you're back to scratch. So you need to pass each and every one of these areas before you will end up with a candidate, and that candidate you can then move into human trials. So that means that it is important to find a molecule that have some good features and hopefully works, but you would ideally like to have more than one molecule. If you could have, let's say, a handful of molecules, then if one fails, you will have more to progress, and hopefully one of them will make it through to candidate stage. So I talked a lot about this molecule you start out with. So how do you then find this molecule? Well, if you look to the left, this is how most companies do the research into molecules. So again, let's say that you have a disease target. We take the same cancer cell as I mentioned before. So how Big Pharma does it is that they have huge setup plants, and they actually use these small plastic ones here with a lot of holes in it. So they need to test it individually. So every molecule they wish to look at, they drop into one hole with the disease target, and then they have huge setup with robots' arms moving in and out, and they can test it and do readout on computers. It requires a lot of people. For Big Pharma to test 1 million molecules will take them 1 to 2 weeks. It means that it's I say fairly slow. It's expensive, as I said, huge setup. It's costly, and the success rate is actually fairly small. So how does Nuevolution do it? To the right. So in Nuevolution, one technician can test billions of molecules in a few days. If Big Pharma were to test 1 billion, that would not take 1 week, but take 1,000 weeks. So they can't really do that. We can test billions. It's cheap, it's fast, and it's scalable. We can do the billions. So therefore we also have a library of molecules containing 40,000 billion molecules. That's because we can actually look at that many, potentially that many molecules. Big Pharma would not be able to do that at all. So how do we do it? So instead of having all these, we have a small plastic bottle, so with the disease target, and we can actually add 1 billion molecules into a small bottle and test it, and then we can fish out the molecules which have the features we're looking at. Then we would typically repeat the process, wash out and repeat the process many, many times. So can Big Pharma not do this also? Well, yes, they can. Now, the problem is that once you've added the 1 billion molecules, you're not able to find them again. Neither are we per se. So what we have developed, and is the founder of, is the DNA encoded research approach. So to each molecule, we glue a DNA string. That works as a barcode reader, as in the supermarket. So we cannot find the molecule, but we can find the DNA, read the DNA with the molecule we wish to look at again. So the computer can find that, and that enables us, as I said, to look at billions of molecules. And that enhances our likelihood of finding molecules with very attractive features compared to if you only test millions of molecules. And it enables us to find more molecules with interesting features than just one molecule, as I mentioned. Further, it enables us to look at 10 plus disease targets on an annual basis. So 10 plus, what does that mean? In comparison, Big Pharma, the Pfizers, the Novartis of the world, with their huge setup and thousands of employees, that's actually more or less what they do on an annual basis. Nuevolution, 48 employees, can do the same. We are mainly within the areas of autoimmune, inflammation, diseases, you have many of them here, and cancer. Now cancer is just shown up here to the right with one box. Of course, cancer is many, many various diseases. Why have we chosen these two major areas? Is it because our technology would not work in other areas? It would. So we have chosen these areas for a number of reasons. One is there is a high unmet need for treatments in here. There is a significant market value in these areas. And very importantly, it's areas where you can potentially enter into partner agreements at an early stage. Typically, you will see my colleagues within the biotech here, they have one or two programs. They need to progress them typically into or through phase 2 before they may be able to enter into partner agreements. That means they will incur a lot of time, they will incur significant risk, and they will incur significant cost before they will know if they are successful. With these areas, we can and have shown that we can enter into partner agreements at an early stage. We have to date entered into more than 17 partner deals. As mentioned, because we can progress and do progress such a broad pipeline, the aim is to enter many partner agreements, and we have done that. It has provided more than 500 million SEK in revenue and cash to the company to date that has been utilized to progress own and new programs forward. You have many of the known names over here. We have, due to that and many years, we have a global reach in partner deals. All the known potential partners, they know Nuevolution, we have the contact, they know what Nuevolution stands for, and they recognize the quality that we provide. We have mentioned that we have an aim of closing another partner deal before year end. It's soon. And we are ongoing in discussions with many potential partners in several areas. The areas which we focus our partner deals on is the three mentioned to the right. It is out-licensing, meaning that one of our programs we will out-license to a partner who will take it from there and progress development, and they will give us a remuneration package. It could be upfront, development, sales milestones, and royalties, similar to what we have done in the Almirall deal. Explain later. The second one is a research collaboration where a partner come in and have some disease targets, saying, could you help us look at these? Indeed, we can. With our platform, our engine, and our library of molecules, we will then look at these disease targets, similar to what we do on own programs. Here we just have a partner, and when we reach a certain stage of success, the partner will take over the program, a license, and move that program forward, again, with a remuneration package to us. This is what we have in the Amgen deal today. Again, explain a little later. Finally, what we're also in discussions with partners about is platform collaboration, meaning that the partner will get access to our technology and can use it in certain areas to look at their own diseases. This is what we have with Novartis. We are in discussions with many partners on all types of partner deals. A little about our own pipeline. As mentioned, cancer and inflammation. Our own programs are currently mainly within inflammation. And here you have on top a schematic view of your immune system, part of the immune system that we're looking at. So if you look at the green cell, that is what you call a Th17 helper cell. That do certain things. Among others, it creates IL-17. IL-17 is known, if it gets out of control, is the cause of several inflammatory diseases such as psoriasis. We all know what that is. Ankylosing spondylitis, which is very painful disease in your spine, and rheumatoid arthritis. It's also known to be part of the cause of diseases like IBD, which is inflammation in your intestines, your bowel, and multiple sclerosis. Now, as I said, this is a known mechanism, the IL-17. It actually also means that there are treatments out there today who can address this, which is very positive. Now, the problem is that that is all big molecules, meaning they cannot fit into a tablet, so they are injectables. Unfortunately, injectables comes with a number of issues. One you could call convenience. You need to go on a monthly basis to the hospital to get your injection. You can probably live with that, but it is a little annoying. That you can do. It's costly. The monthly cost is around 12,000 Swedish krona for life. Either, if depending on what country you live in, you have to pay yourself or your insurance company, or as here in Sweden, the health system will pay. And the third one, and probably the most problematic one, is that the way it works is that the injection, it takes out part of your immune system completely for a month. So if you then get an infection, this is the time of year where we all get the flus and the colds, that can potentially become problematic. So you may end up being hospitalized and have rather significant problems. Now, if one were to develop a small molecule tablet, doesn't exist today, that is what we are aiming at. Now, it would be more convenient, not injectable. You take a tablet, morning or evening. It would be cheaper, and most importantly, if you get an infection, now it has the half-life, the time from you get it until it's out of your system of 12 to 24 hours. So if you get an infection, you simply stop taking your tablet, your immune system will get back up and running, take care of your infection, and then you can start taking your tablet again. Now, we have programs targeting this mechanism in several areas. One is the RAW program to take out the green one, which will help the problem and also potentially other diseases. Now, of course, it goes into your system, and it impacts your immune system. The other one, the recent one we have, is going straight for the IL-17, meaning that you may not, if you have mild to moderate psoriasis, you may not like that much to go in and impact the immune system. If you could potentially have a cream that you could put on that could do it locally, fix the problem. So that is what we're looking at in that program. As mentioned, we have a quite wide pipeline. As you can see here, many programs. On top you have within inflammation, where we have Almirall, I mentioned. They have within dermatology. We have below Amgen in cancer, the programs there. Just briefly touching upon those two agreements. Almirall is one of the biggest companies worldwide within dermatology. We're working with them. This is an out-licensing agreement, so they have licensed our program within that area and progress it forward. They have paid upfront 109 million Swedish krona. We have received that. If the program is successful and makes it all the way to the market, we will get in total 4.4 billion, and there will be royalties on top of that. Amgen is a research collaboration, multiple program collaborations. So for each program, we will look into finding molecules against a cancer target, and they have several of those that we're looking at. It progresses very, very well, and the first program, they opted in, meaning that during the summer, they will saying it's so successful now, we want to take it from here, and they will cover all costs. Next step is that they will take a license, which will give us a minimum payment of $10 million US. If that program makes it again all the way to the market, we will receive a total of 3.5 billion Swedish krona. Now, this is per program. As mentioned, there are multiple programs. We have at least announced 2 additional programs which are coming up fast behind the first one. And again, for each program, there is the possibility of getting 3.5 billion in total per program. A little about our financials. Not going into details. This you could claim is slightly old numbers. This is Q2, being a listed company. I'm just saying that by the end of June we had 160 million Swedish kroner in cash. So we do have quite a lot of cash, which enables us to progress our pipeline and do the things I just said we want to do. So we have the funds to do that. In 2 days from now, Wednesday, we will come out with our third quarter release. In connection with that, we will have a presentation on that taking place on Thursday, and you can find on our website where there is a link where we will have a video presentation where all of management will be there, and anyone can log into that and see that also. So there will be updated numbers in 2 days. Just round off saying what are the short-term plans, goals for Nuevolution. It is to progress our internal pipeline. As I said in the outset, Nuevolution have several programs owned and partnered which are close to clinic, and we will continue to progress these programs toward clinical readiness. The new programs we have, IL-17, we will progress toward candidate nomination, and we will continue to build a new pipeline as we do constantly. On the partner side, we will progress the 2 big agreements we have with Almirall towards clinic also, and Amgen towards candidate nomination and license of the first program, and to push forward the other programs into another opt-in and license down the road. And finally, as I said, we have guided a new deal this year. Open up for questions. Now I did my presentation in English. I'm a Dane. I have throughout my career been in Sweden for many, many years, so you're more than welcome to ask your questions in Swedish. I can easily understand it.
But will you be replying in English? Or?
Yes.
Okay, then
yes.
I will post my questions in English because it's more natural. But thank you so much, Johnny.
Thank you.
So far. So you're saying you're still trying to close this deal before the year ends. Is it still possible?
It is, yes. As I said, we are in discussions with many potential partners in
for
several
the same
areas.
deal, you could say.
Yeah, several deals.
Yeah.
So what I cannot say is.
So you're wishing to close one of them?
One of them, yes, yes. I cannot, if you ask the question. So which type will it be? Don't know, because we are in many different discussions at various of the 3 types I mentioned. So which one gets closed first? I can't say.
But when you're speaking, it sounds like, ooh, you have endless possibilities. But what are your main challenges or your main risks?
Are you talking about partner deals or the business?
No, I'm talking in general. For these investors sitting here,
yes.
Of course they want to know what are the challenges and the risks that you're facing.
So you can say that we face similar risks as many of our other colleagues do. So drug discovery and research is challenging, and we will bump into the same issues and problems as everyone else have. Now, how we have mitigated that risk, because it's certainly there, and we will fail in some areas also. But we have mitigated that because we are able to progress such a broad pipeline. There will be some who will fail, but that doesn't mean the end of Nuevolution, because we have a broad pipeline.
Jag tänker att jag släpper in publiken här också. Har vi någon som sitter här och har en fråga, så upprepar jag den sen. Ja. Thanks to Chemetics, what would be your cost advantage compared with
so
conventional?
It's a factor of 1 to 50 would be our.
He's nodding. That's good.
So we are significantly cheaper, less costly in our research. Yes. No.
Is that all the way to getting a preclinical candidate?
No. No, it's not. So the uniqueness is, you can say, is to find the attractive molecules. That is where we are truly unique and different in looking at so many molecules, and therefore also should be with unique features. We are also unique in the way we can optimize in the early stage compared to others. But when you move further down the chain, then we become, in all fairness, very, very similar to others. So the studies we need to do, the tox studies we need to do, we are identical to other companies. Time-wise, cost-wise.
Yes, another question. Du kan ta på svenska om du vill då.
Do you expect any milestone from the existing deals, Almiral or Amgen, during next year?
Do you expect any milestones from these Amiral and Amgen during the next year?
So I cannot elaborate on exact timing, but as I said, that in the Amgen deal, in the first program, they did what I described as the opt-in, whereby they will cover all costs. Next step in that is that they will, until phase 1, they will opt in, and the longer Amgen waits, the more expensive the price is to take a license. That's why I said that the license pay will be a minimum of $10 million. Now it is entirely up to Amgen when they decide to take the license. So I cannot give an exact time, but as mentioned, as time progresses, so does the price.
What I'm aiming at is avoiding a new share issue. If this new partnership becomes a reality, then that takes care of the problem, I suppose. But also a milestone from any one of the others would bring in enough cash.
You're thinking of
to go on without the share issue.
if you could get the financing so you don't have to make new share issues.
So as I showed, the company is quite well funded, and that does not, as you are indicating, does not include the possibility of additional partner income, which can come from existing programs, as I said, from Amgen in the current program, and the other ones who's the fast followers, and other of the existing one. And as you said, we're talking about new partner deals. So such a new partner deal may include upfronts and various milestones, depending on, as I said, which type of the three types of deals that we close first.
Okay, and now we only have a few seconds left. Any more questions or no? Yes, one tiny question.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes, he's wondering the 7 deals you made and the money you were talking about over how long time?
So Nuevolution is a mature company. It was founded in 2001. So the first deal started around 2004. Now they were small deals. They are included. So the deals have progressed since 2004. But of course, the value and the payment to us has increased over the years.
So we will have to pass the final questions to the outside, where you will be standing, right, at the standing table.
Yes,
and so, thank you for
thank you very much.
Interesting presentation.